November 1st and 2nd are the 2 days out of the year that are celebrated for the Day of the Dead. In the Mexican culture, those specific days are celebrated discreetly for the ones who have passed away. Everywhere in Mexico, especially the cemetery and the homes of the family, are filled with colorful decorative sugar skulls. This is one of the main decorations that show how we spiritually keep them alive in our hearts and our memories. These are some of the ideas as into why they have meaning to them. The remembrance of a loved one who has passed. Different sizes are meant for different purposes, and an offering to the god of the underworld. The Start Down memory lane. Sugar skulls is a representation of an animal or person who has died. There are different ways that they are remembered. One of them is by putting the name of the person who has died on the forehead. There are skulls that are made for animals. For example, say if someone lost a dog, they would make a skull that the shape of a dog and have the name on the forehead. These days are celebrated differently. For instance, the first is celebrated for children and the second is celebrated for the adults who have died. And this is from customtattoodesign.ca. When the family members put them on the ofrendas, it is more of an offering to the soul than it is being remembered by their loved ones and how special they were to them. Before the Spanish invasion, the people in Mexico City, the Day of the Dead, they would instead use actual skulls instead of like the regular sugar candy skulls. And this is found on refinery29.com. After the whole Spanish invasion, they did not like the idea of having them to use real sugar skulls, so they improved and used sugar, which is a technique the Spanish learned from the Middle East. And that is found at refinery29.com. Moreover, about the skulls being different for the different purposes, the reason why they are either small or big is because the small ones are for the children and the bigger ones are for the older adults and elderly people who have died. And I found this at dayofthedead.holiday. There are certain colors that are used for decorating the sugar skulls. For example, the use of red symbolizes the blood of the person of who died. The purple symbolizes the pain of the person that went through that. And that is found on sddayofthedead.org. There are more colors that have different meaning towards them. Overall, the way people decorate their skulls is by their liking, and it's a tradition to at least showcase some of the colors that they feel comfortable about that person. Nevertheless, since the holiday was made in the Mexico-American societies, for example, the Aztecs, they believed that the skulls were made for being an offering from the families to the dead of the god of the underworld. To illustrate the god of the underworld, Meclunith would use those skulls as a passage for the Day of the Dead to visit the families only on November 1st and 2nd. That piece of evidence was found on roseburian.com. There would also be skulls that would look like the god of the underworld, the god of the underworld's face around the ofrendas of the cemeteries. For the events, the members of the families would put the favorite drinks, foods, and snacks on the person's grave because it's a tradition that they do in Mexico. To conclude, some of the points I have discussed explained why having sugar skulls are important for the Day of the Dead in Mexico and especially here in the United States, like in California. First, I told you about how they resemble the loved one, why the sizes are different, and that they are an offering to the god of the underworld. Maybe this will change your view on sugar skulls and why it's being used for those 2 days. Thank you.